Squirrels! So hello, and welcome to another Legends of Runeterra video. My name is Chris, and today we will be playing Attack! Yes, I put this list together because essentially this is probably my favorite way to try and play the game. For those of you who don't know, I would say my favorite champion is Katarina, and I was thinking about making a Katarina deck that's a bit different to anything else, and then I thought about Citrus Courier and how strong this card can be and how fun it could be to play, and trying to build a deck around it, and then trying to combine them to see if we can rally a lot in you know, just the game in general, and see what we can do from there. And so this is the list that I put together. That's the general theme of the list, and I stumbled across one of the great synergies in this game, a synergy that I am particularly fond of, and I don't think I've seen it anywhere else. I'm sure someone's had the idea before. But the synergy is between Draven and BRASH Gambler. Draven, I'm sure you've all seen and know. Play or strike, create a spinning axe in hand. I've struck with 2 total spinning axes to level him up. The level up isn't that important for this combo. What you need is Draven on turn 3. You slap Draven down. He creates you a spinning axe. You attack on turn 3. He creates you another spinning axe. Draven, as I said before, is pretty much unblockable by turn 3 because of the spinning axes. There's very little that opponents can do because of his quick attack and the fact that you can they knowingly know that you could knowingly know that you could buff his attack up as well. Basically makes him unblockable. Then on turn 4 it's their attack, of course, and then you discard the 2 spinning axes. You get a 4/5 from BRASH Gambler, so you've discarded 2 axes that you essentially didn't need. From Draven you've got a 4/5 now, that when you attack on the open attack next turn, you are going to get 2 cards to then play for pretty much free the next turn after that. And that is a combo that is very strong, and obviously BRASH Gambler from there, every time she attacks she will get you 2 more cards, and obviously with the rally effects that we've got going on, she can potentially draw us a lot of cards, and you know, having card advantage is something that generally wins games. So let's talk you through the list. Well, we're running a one of Draven's biggest fan. You might think, why are we doing this? Well, it's because getting Draven on turn 3 is quite important for the deck, particularly with BRASH Gambler, and Draven's biggest fan is often a good way. Having just one of, I don't think you'd ever want more, but having just as a one of is an extra way of just kind of, you know, putting the odds in our favor that we will get a Draven on turn 3 to play, and as I say, it's quite important for the deck, as he's a very strong 3-drop, and will be sorely missed if we do not get him. Jagged Butcher is just a strong card. It's a potential 1-mana 3/3, and essentially with Katarina, I've said this before, you essentially want cheap options that have staying power. You want to have units that have staying power on the board that can survive a hit or two, so that you can afford to, you know, use your mana on Katarina and not have to continually develop on the board. And Jagged Butcher is essentially just that. He's a 1-mana 3/3. He's very good in that sense. Power Relay as a one-of. We are playing a one-of Swain in this deck, which I'll explain later on, but obviously this helps with him. And it's just a nice way to enable plunder for stuff like Jagged Butcher or Citrus Courier, as this can deal 1 to anything, and that does include just the Nexus. Obviously, if you do want to kill a unit, that's obviously beneficial, but you can just go straight to Nexus if you need to, and so in that sense it can be quite useful. Crimson Disciple, obviously a strong card that we've all seen, again goes well with Swain, and again has some staying power because often they won't want to, like, you know, chump block this. It's not something that you ever want to chump block, right? And that means it has more staying power than perhaps other things. Hired Gun is a card that I have been a fan of more than most. I think I'm quite a big fan of this card. I think it's very good in quite a few situations. You'll notice all of our 2-drops here have the 2/3 stat line, and therefore, you know, have some solidity to them. In general, are just solid 2-drops. Imperial Demolitionist, very good again for enabling plunder, of course. We've all seen this paired with Crimson Disciple, very strong, and it's just a strong card in general. Helps with Swain, of course, as well, and he's gonna deal damage to the face, and that can be quite important as well in case we are against control and, you know, kind of need just some direct burn damage. Make It Rain, strong card, play it. If you're in Bilge Water, I'd probably say play it. You know, again, great plunder enabler, very good in certain situations as well. Transfusion is probably my favorite choice to for like a combat trick. It's very cheap, will almost always keep something alive. The deal 1 often isn't a downside, you know, particularly on something like Crimson Disciple, but often you're going to deal 1 to an ally that's about to die anyway, and giving something else 2/2 normally keeps it alive. So it's very good for just 2 mana. Death's Hand obviously goes well with Swain. Again, plunder enabler. We do need some removal, because again we are going to want to control the board in some way, but we don't want our units to die, so we do need some spells to help us remove those, and Death's Hand is a good way of doing it. Draven, I've talked about his importance. Katarina, obviously, is our rally champion. She's the one that's going to be given us those multiple attacks. And this is a mid-range type of list. You're going to go a bit slower than aggro, quicker than control, and with Katarina, you're going to hope to not surprise control, because they know you've got her, but you know, you're going to limit their options, right? Particularly against control, what you can do is you make any development they make, if you've got Katarina back in hand leveled up, it just makes it so that they can't quite commit to anything on their turn, you know? Like, imagine if they slap down Ledros, but you've already got a blocker or whatever for it. You slap down Katarina, they're on low health, you're going to win the game. So you kind of limit what they can do significantly with Katarina in hand, and they know that, and so that's going to change the game and potentially help in your favor. And she obviously got a big buff when she got the Blade's Edge as well, as that's just essentially again more removal, helps with Swain again, or can be a plunder enabler as well. Noxus further, very good against control, of course. Again, Swain loves this card. This is Swain's best friend. 2 of these will just level up Swain straight away, which is kind of nuts. And you know, it's just a good card. It's a good card. If our things are getting removed, we can use that against people. Brash Gambler, I've talked about. If we can discard Draven's axes, or even stuff like, you know, Draven's biggest fan, say we pick him up later on, you know, that's an easy discard target for her, and that helps as well. But ideally, it will be Draven's axes, and you know, she's going to give us the extra card draw that potentially this kind of deck might lack, and she's on a very, very solid body of a 4/5, and she becomes a big threat as opponents know they can't let her keep on attacking, as the value she's just going to produce is way too high for an opponent to take. Kato the Arm obviously goes extremely well anytime he can survive and rally, and you can potentially give 2 of your things +3 and overwhelm, or just give 1 thing +6 and overwhelm. It's obviously a very, very strong combo, and any sort of combat tricks like that obviously are supported by rally quite well. And he's, you know, pretty buffy himself as a 5/4, and you know, the threat that he can bring is quite significant as well. Then we've got our one-off of Swain, who is also a very, very nasty champion. Anyone who's played against Swain, when you don't have a blocker with 3 or more health, you know the sense of dread that you feel from Swain, as you can't block him and you know that things are going awry. And as you've seen, we have quite a lot of ways to potentially level up Swain, and so it can happen quite often, and he's just a one-of in this deck as essentially an extra threat, and a good one at that for us to use, as I don't think you ever really want Katarina as a 3-of, especially when we're playing Citrus Courier already. You could potentially go 1 of Katarina and 2 of Swain if you wanted. You might want to add in an extra 3-drop if you do that. Battering Ram is my favorite card in the entire game, has been ever since I discovered this card. I just love this card, and I'm glad that it kind of fits in this deck. Obviously attacking multiple times with this is pretty nuts. Will of Ionia is obviously a pretty big counter to it, but in certain matchups, if they aren't playing Ionia, which that phrase is used a lot, if they aren't playing Ionia, this card's insane. That's Battering Ram. If they aren't playing Ionia, this card is insane. Especially against stuff like P and Z, Courier Control. They have what, maybe the 1 of Vengeance, 2 of Vengeance maybe is their only threat to this card, because 12 health is obviously just incredible. And again, if you can attack multiple times with this, forget about it. The game is probably already won right there on the spot. And Citrus Courier, as I said, healizes in your Nexus 3, then rally. The healing your Nexus, can be particularly good against burn aggro and stuff like that. I feel like this is an underrated part of this card, that against aggro matches, healing your Nexus 3 can win you the game. Straight up. And obviously the rally effect as well normally means that you're doing pretty well. And just a very solid card in general. And again, obviously goes with Katarina. I talked about we need to have sort of stability on the board. Well, if we're healing our allies 3, that obviously helps as well. So this is the deck. I think it's fun. It's kind of my favorite way of playing the game, I think, in these sort of mid-range rally lists. I don't know why, it just kind of it speaks to me on a level. Unfortunately, they're maybe not tier 1, but I think this is a pretty competitive list. As it can do work, you know, you get big time. This combo of Draven, Brash, Gambler, I'm probably going to have to see if I can make something else of that, because that is particularly chef's kiss. So, with that said, let's get into some games. So, it looks like someone has stolen my idea, but gone with different champions. Misfortune, Darius. If I had to guess, they're going to be a bit more aggro than us overall. So, we can drop these. Crimson Disciple I like. Probably drop the Fervor as well, as I don't think he's going to have too many good targets. I mean, we've got this insane combo here. We will obviously play the Jagged Butcher turn 1, just to stay on curve. Likelihood is he is on a 2-drop, but I don't think it's going to have 3 attack. I'm going to take that risk. It could be something like Legion Drummer. But I'm going to take that risk that it doesn't. House Spider? Yep. And so against House Spider, we will just attack. I could trade these. I will trade this. I will. Oh. Well, that means he's got Make It Rain, obviously. Obviously not what I was expecting there at all. As normally people won't block this, but that means that he's got an obvious Make It Rain. In which case we can probably just further face, as that probably will be our best play this turn.
Be grateful I
no.
Noticed you.
Huh. Okay, well I'll pass now. He's happy for us to see the turn through. At this point, I think we can probably go in there.
Will you be quiet?
And be decently okay with that. Obviously, that block has kind of ruined our Demolitionist, which I'm quite frustrated about. There's almost no way he passes here. I'd be shocked if he did. Kind of hoping he goes into Misfortune so I can just further it. Straight up Decimate. Okay. Again, we don't really have a great play here. So what I'm going to do is, I am just going to do this anyway, I think. I think I am going to do this anyway.
Make the Empire proud.
I think we have to be somewhat mana efficient. I didn't think about when we're going to play this, right? We've got a turn 5 and a turn 6 play all lined up anyway. So essentially, anything else always becomes a bit awkward. It is me! So double Grenadier, is there any better time to make it rain? I don't think so. I mean, that's pretty much perfect for us. As now, look at the turn we can set up here. This is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Watch this. And this is where the potential strength of this deck comes. There's Draven. As there's pretty much no way he can deal with both of them. That's 10 damage right there. He's going to play something, I'm sure. If not, just surrender. He'll surrender soon. There's a Darius. And this is the point that I'm talking about. And the strength of Rally. And our Demolitionist keeps Overwhelmed, by the way. So we can afford to do this time. There we go. Yeah, Rally with him pretty strong, right? He's playing an interesting list. I did put Misfortune in this deck to start off with. Misfortune I don't think is correct. I think Misfortune struggles from the fact that she's too vulnerable. She's not like Draven with the quick attack where she can afford to attack and live. She just has to sit there, and I think outside of Scout she doesn't get the value. I've actually been a bit underwhelmed by her overall, as it looks like we're playing against my deck here, and he does have turn 1 attack with Teemo potentially. So the transfusion could be nice, but I think we might be on the back foot to start. I want to keep the Death's Hand, but I'll get rid of the rest. Okay, we find the Draven, find the Crimson Disciple, that's all neat and nice. So we find this little combo as well, which is good. No Teemo turn 1, also very good. So we'll obviously go into Crimson Disciple. As I say, we normally want to be attacking on 3 for Draven, but this time it was not to be. It was not. I mean, this card just provides such problems. This does look like my list. Danilo main. Could be, could not. If this deck ever becomes popular, by the way, I am going to claim that I found it. I was the creator. If you ever see this deck, I am always the creator of this deck. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. Okay. Well, I'm kind of kidding. I never saw this deck before I played it, but... There's a petty officer. You will fight, or you will swim. Well, we're going to go for Demolitionist now, because this is obviously an insane combo that's about to deal 4 damage straight to his face. And it's just in general very strong. Now what I might do here is... I think I'm going to make it rain.
Ends here.
I think. Could kill this, could kill you as well. Okay, it didn't kill the keg, but we'll kill this. Helps up with the old Swain as well. Does mean that we don't have access to this transfusion unless... I think... I would love to play Draven, I really would. But he could easily have Static Shock, and that's not something I'm really willing to risk. So what I'm going to do is, what am I more likely to drag this to? If he Static Shocks, I'm more likely to kill you and give it to you. So yeah, this is correct. Or make it rain. That's fine too. So what we're going to do is do that. This is why we did that. As now this is going to deal 4 and an extra 2 from this. The thing is, he would have to deal 3 damage to this to ever kill it. So Swain's going to get... You see, Swain is already at 11 of 12, so we're pretty much there with the Death's Hands. We definitely will be. Have a mushroom. Have 3. He's always a bit annoying, but we are getting close now, and with Citrus Courier as well, we really could go in, as long as we can survive this turn. There's a big Gangaplanko. I think we will just go Kato the Arm. Everybody! I think we can afford to take the 5. What we're going to do is we're going to hope for an open attack here. A nice open attack. And we will drag that to you.
I give you muscles! I'm a peddler, not a meddler.
He probably will try and kill this. Yeah. Okay, not much we could have done about that.
I've always been a fun guy.
We will kill his Mushroom Man. And what we will do now is go Draven.
It's Draven time.
He just thermo beams this. Does this guy know my hand? Like what? Okay. Why would you... It's not a play I was expecting, I'll be honest. Unless he's looking to just deal as much damage as he can, of course. That would also make sense, I suppose. But I will still block. gives us a nice Death's Hand on the Gangplank.
Draven down.
We can now go into K to the Arm.
Time is it?
Goes into Chump Wump. Can go Demolitionist. This is getting him down now. We can see pretty low. I don't think there's a way he can deal 3 damage straight up right now. If he does go for a Thermo Beam here, we've got obviously the Noxian Fervor straight to face. And then we are essentially 1 damage off. So he's happy to end the round. So am I. As long as he can't kill this, I should be okay. But even with, we could be okay anyway.
I'll cut my name into
We're going to make him trade his Gangplank. It's going to put him down on 3. Which obviously we know is pretty much good game. Unless he's got 9 face damage there. We can go into Jagged, into Citrus Courier, into whatever we want really. Just 2 powder kegs. So you might be looking for an all-out kill here. That's gonna actually give him some hope. But we are gonna gain 3 life through this.
Is worth at least twice as much.
It's my ship. And we see the pressure that Citrus Courier puts on and going up to 12 health as well. Will this win us the game? He has to respond with a unit, and if it's a unit of a certain size, like Chump Wump, now we could... 2 mana. Mystic Shock could kill this. That's very true. I still think we go for this, as it will force him. If we can force him to use something on this, then I think we can win this game. He now has to use this. Yeah. Okay. Fine. We still know that we're in charge of this game. He has to take a bad block here. He's only got 2 cards in hand. We've only got 1, of course, but ours can win us this game. So yeah, he's going for mushrooms. We actually can't lose the game from the mushrooms. That's good this turn. And we can see what he plays here. Okay, we get second Noxian Fervor, so we should be good. So there's GP. That's pretty scary, I won't lie. So we will we lose to this? Not quite, I don't think. But we have to, when I get the chance to declare blockers, we have to do this then. As this Gangplank will kill our Citrus Courier. Oh, it will kill us, of course, because he's going to deal 2. But I want to see if he'll play something first. As if these 2 are spells that can kill this. And we are obviously in trouble. So we'll go for the first one. He goes for a Make It Rain, and it's all on whatever this card is. Here we go. Why do they always pause? What does it mean? Yeah! Oh, wow. Why do they always pause? Like, you know if you've won or lost. I kind of love it in a way. Oh, man. God, that was fun. I love that deck. I love this deck. I love the deck that he was playing. Oh, I love it. Super fun. Super fun. As you can see, the deck has nice synergy. We saw Kato the Arm, Citrus Courier go off. Unfortunately, you didn't get to see Brush Gambler, but you can imagine. You know, just use your imaginations. You know, and we saw Disciple, Demolitionist, and how, you know, strong they are basically. And just the whole deck. You can see it synergizes quite nicely. Leveling up Swain is no issue. Draven is strong. Katarina obviously can help us rally as well. Yeah, super fun. So I hope you enjoy this deck. Use it to your best abilities. My name is Chris, and I will see you next time.